It was a surprise attack in the middle of the night. Men on motorbikes wielding machetes and guns, looking for people from the Dogon ethnic group. Men, women and children were killed and others injured. The attack is similar to another 3 months ago, when suspected Dogon armed men killed 160 Fulani villagers in Ouagadougou near the border with Burkina Faso. Mali President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta held a minute's silence for the victims during an official visit to Switzerland.
At this moment, a thought for those who once more have fallen under murderous bullets, an unjust and cowardly act in Dogon country.
Fulanis are nomadic herders who move in search of fodder for their cattle. Villagers resent them invading their farmland, and those disagreements often turn violent. There are 13,000 UN peacekeeping troops in Mali to protect people from armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda. Increasingly, they're dealing with fighting between neighbouring villages.
The United Nations system in Mali is mobilizing to provide humanitarian assistance to help people affected. The mission also provided air support this morning in support of the Malian government to prevent further attacks.
There are fears the intercommunal conflict is escalating. This year has seen some of the deadliest incidents of ethnic violence in Mali in a generation.
Everybody knows that the government is missing in action. It has not been able to send its reach to address the lack of presence of the states in places where there are communal strife between the Fulanis, the Dogons and the Bambaras.
The attack in March led to several military commanders being sacked. But many Malians say the government and UN forces need to do much more to stop the bloodshed. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
Nicholas Hack is joining us live from Mali's capital, Bamako, with any update, Nicholas, on the situation there and whether anyone's claimed responsibility for this latest attack.
No one has claimed responsibility for this attack, but that comes as no surprise. We've seen attacks like this, some that have been directed towards the Fulani community from Dogon hunters, and there again, no one had claimed responsibility. This morning, the Prime Minister of Mali, Boubou Cissé, went on the ground to visit those that have survived this brutal attack. And you know, he was there to try to reassure the population, to show the presence of the Malian forces, because many here are questioning why it took so long for the Malian forces, let alone the 14,000 UN peacekeepers that are on the ground, to come to try to stop the violence that took place in that village on Sunday. The violence took place just 50 kilometers away from a big Malian army base, a UN peacekeeping base. It started at 1700 local time. It lasted for hours until 1 o'clock in the morning. And it took all this time before any security agency could come on the ground. So there's a lot of question here on the efficiency of both the UN forces and the Malian forces. And that is why Boubou Cissé, the Prime Minister, went on the ground to reassure the population, to say that the Malian security forces are there to protect both the Dogon and the Fulanis.
And what was the response to that reassurance?
People are scared, not just in that area in the central of Mali, but there's fear throughout the country that this could spread. Remember, this all started in 2013, where armed groups took over the north of the country, arriving just a few hundred kilometers from Bamako. Then the French forces, France, the former colonial power, came in to intervene, and the UN forces came. But since, we've seen an increase on violence, not just by armed groups, but from various militia groups or neighbors attacking one another. We're seeing Malian attacking Malians over the control of land. We're seeing Fulanis attacking the Dogons. We're also seeing this spread across the border to Burkina Faso. So the United Nations Security Council is expected to meet tomorrow to renew the mandate of the peacekeeping mission here. And some members of the Security Council are in disagreement with how to renew that mandate, whether to give more ability to this mandate to intervene outside of the border of Mali, or whether to stay on course and to see whether that will stem the violence. But it seems, with at least 480 people dead so far in the last 2 months, that the violence is just increasing.
All right. Nicholas Hack, thank you.